Hi everyone, this is Mike, and I'm going to do just a few minutes of gentle movement that is designed to be good for preparing you to sit in meditation. So mostly three things: keeping us mindful of what we're doing with our body, warming the spine in a way that it can also move in all directions and keep its energy flowing, and also paying some attention to the hips, which when they're tight can really prevent us from being able to sit for any usable amount of time in meditation. If you like, have something handy like a block or a blanket to sit up on. But for the most part, we'll just be moving on. It's not a long practice. Let's begin lying back. So I want you to go lie back, full body. We're going to do what's called Tadaka Mudra. So you'll interlace your fingers, flip the palms away, and give me a big body, full body stretch as you flex your feet. And then exhale, bring that back to your sides. All right. So inhale, interlace the fingers, shine the palms away, full body stretch, and exhale. So note here that there is something that we can do. Inhale to prepare for meditation that is also related to our breath. And that's synchronizing our movements to it, right? Nice. Let's do one more like that and hold it long and give me a full body stretch. So it's like you're standing on that wall down there and you're reaching up to the other wall. Almost like imagine like you're standing. Imagine like you're standing and reaching up away from the earth, defying gravity. Really activate every part of yourself here. Nice. So let's go ahead and bring our knees in next. We're going to start with Apanasana. So just bringing your knees into your chest. All right. And then when we inhale, we'll send the feet up and the arms overhead. And when we exhale, we'll hug in. So if you want to involve a little bit more in this, inhale. Again, we're mindful that we move with the breath. It's an act of concentration. Exhale, maybe bring your chin in. Inhale, feet up, arms up. And exhale, drawing that chin in. A little activation in the low belly. Never hurts, gets things moving. Good. And as we flow things, I do things about 5 times. Okay, inhale. Good. And exhale. From here, let's leave our knees over our hips. Bring your arms out to a side, make a big T shape. And then inhale to draw your navel down. And exhale, drop your legs on over to the left. Now these are called windshield wipers. Inhale, come up to the center. And then exhale, drop them over to the right. And if you like, you could also do as I just did here, put your toes down if it's too much weight to carry there. Exhale, every exhale goes down to the side. Every inhale comes up through the center. And exhale down to the side. If you get used to this, you could also involve the neck, inhale center, and as the knees fall, you look the other way. Good. Let's do one more. And then return back to center, and always being mindful, no rush, hugging the knees in, chin to chest, and then round out your back. If it feels gentle enough for you, do a couple rock and rolls like this. Roll like a ball, hesitate at the top, okay? Using your core strength more than your legs. You see my legs are not swinging here. And then go ahead and come on up and come onto all fours. However you would like to do that. Put your hands under your shoulders and your knees under your hips. So making this nice tabletop, let's start with what we call kind of a barrel roll. So take and draw your navel up in. And then you're going to make circles to the side with it. So you're going to come around the right side and sort of drop the belly and then come back up the left side, making these nice circular motions back into this big cat arch. So we're taking the spine into all kinds of directions on this. Taking a big barrel roll. Exhale, draw your navel up as you come up. And then as you come on back down, inhale, maybe draw your heart forward. Exhale, come up the left side, draw the navel up. So it may be a little bit difficult to see, but I'm just kind of doing this circular motion with the whole belly area mostly. The hips and the shoulders, and then we're going to reverse that. Make sure you go the other way. The hips and the shoulders are kind of swaying side to side. They don't have to move dramatically far though. And think about, as you inhale, maybe looking up a little bit, and as you exhale, looking towards your knees. Let's do one more here. And at the end of your next exhale, just return back to tabletop, and we'll do a different cat stretch. Inhale, draw your heart forward and lift your hips. And then as you exhale with knees wide, come back to a child's pose. Touch the forehead. Inhale, kind of draw on your hands to bring your heart forward, lift your tailbone, look up a little bit. And as you exhale, tuck your chin, tuck your navel, and reach your hips back towards your heels. A few times through, inhale, so we're still undulating that spine through every time, bending it a little bit in the opposite way, in a smooth, kind of nourishing way. Good, and the next time you exhale, draw that navel in at the end of the exhale, and come on up. Then we're going to go onto our front, all right? So, coming on down, let's do a cobra. So a cobra is done with the hands under the shoulders, and this is just really good for developing some back strength. You're going to inhale, use the hands a little bit to lift, and keep your arms in close to the body, all right? Draw your navel in and up, and let's just flow this a few times. Exhale, put your head down to the mat. Inhale, use the strength of your body, carry it up, and exhale, bow. Few times, and inhale, you may not even be using the hands. Up to you. Exhale, if you have low back issues, you're taking this really lightly. Inhale, exhale, and we're moving with our good quality of smooth breath, right? Inhale one more time. Hold this one now. Exhale, draw your shoulders back, engage your glutes a little bit, not an over squeeze. Reach your legs back behind you, and feel the space, the back of your throat and the back of your heart moving up. Okay? A lot of times we have this tendency to droop here, or to let our head follow where our gaze wants to go, instead of keeping our neck nice and long. Beautiful. And then let's go ahead, take a brief child's pose, press back, and knees wide, toes together to counter stretch that. Surrender the elbows. A child's pose, if you need to, the hips can stay high, and the head could be supported with your fists underneath it as well, okay? All right, let's come back to seated. So coming back up, and I'll advise you to, if sitting is, very uncomfortable for you, go ahead and lift up. Sit on a cushion or a blanket like so, because you'll want to for meditation too. And I'm going to offer two options here. If you feel really tight, you might just take what's called Sukhasana. Just sit in a comfortable cross-legged position. It's important that we be able to sit up nice and tall. If I'm on the blanket, I'm at the edge of it, so it helps me sit up. If we've got a little more openness, maybe you like to try the sort of ankle to knee. So that is left leg under and right ankle to left knee. So then you just kind of let this fall where it may. You could use a block to support this. You'll know immediately if this is too tight for you, and if it is, return that back just a regular cross-legged seat, okay? And then we're going to inhale, making sure that our spine stays lifted, and exhale, turn to the right, putting your hand behind you. Now your back hand reminds you to lift and be tall, your kickstand. The front hand reminds you to be tall as you exhale and twist and look back. So this pose too is very much an active concentration. Can you employ your eye gaze and let it rest on one spot without wavering? Practicing again being content in the present moment. So even the things that we do with the physical body can have a component of mindfulness. And with practice, maybe that becomes second nature, or a little bit more so. Maintaining that beautiful lift through the spine and thinking about your twist happening from the navel upwards. Stay in the twist, but when you inhale, look over your front shoulder briefly. And then exhale, return back to center. If you're feeling a little ooch-achi in those hips, give them a little bit of a shake. So we're going to go do the other side. If you were cross-legged, switch the cross of the legs. Otherwise, this time I've got right leg under and left ankle to right knee. This is sometimes called double pigeon, as I'd said, or fire log, meaning the logs of the shin bones are kind of stacked on each other. Again, make sure that you feel both sit bones grounding down. Okay. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale and twist to the left. Once more, we'll use the back hand to remind ourselves to inhale and lift. Front hand to exhale as we lift and twist. So it's kind of like lifting up and out of that body. So we've got a nice combo pose here, limbering up the back and opening up the hips. Again, settle your eye gaze, call that drishti. Settle your eye gaze on a single place and practice that active concentration there. Also important to not let the twist restrict your full breathing. Sometimes we twist and the chest cavity feels a little constricted and we breathe a little bit less fully, but we want to try to breathe smoothly still, despite that challenge. So stay in the twist, but inhale, take your gaze over that front arm again. Good. And then exhale, let's come back to the front. Okay, let's go ahead and undo this. If you want to keep sitting on the blanket, that's great. We're just going to do a simple two-legged fold. Both legs straight out in front of you. If you need a little bit of a lift, go ahead and take it. But again, let's try to do things mindfully with a nice long spine. Exhale, you hinge forward sort of as far as you can, making those hips stop. And then some of us may just like to rest and practice here. You could also use a strap around the heels to take some of the stress off. Otherwise, if you're comfortable doing so, you could hold the toes or the feet. And again, just surrender and be at ease. All of the things that you do, especially if this is leading us to meditation, should cultivate ease, should bring us into more centeredness, more single-mindedness. And so if you're feeling tension, sure, work through it in a nice, smooth way a little bit. See how I'm kind of pedaling the feet here if it's really tight. You don't want to get here and just be like, oh my gosh, and seize up. Because when the body seizes up, then so does the breath, and then the mind has no chance but to do the same. So if that happens, take it back into your breath and remind yourself that this is a safe thing that you're doing. Smooth out the breath to smooth out the mind. Take one more nice deep inhale in the pose and a deeper exhale. And gently lean back with the upper chest. And we're going to do a bound angle, sometimes called butterfly, where you just put the soles of the feet together. Many ways to make this accessible for you. Soles of the feet together, you can open them like a book a little bit too, and you'll feel that stretch a little bit more. So we did the outer hips. This one really gives us a big inner hip, inner thigh stretch too. Again, working on those hips because that's the area we want flexible and strong if we're going to sit. If you need to, try hands behind. Sometimes that lets us sit up nice and straight, and then your knees can just be heavy, and you don't have to struggle with your seat. Okay? Otherwise, again, like the book, or even hands around those toes. And yes, you can hinge at this one as well. Take a few more breaths with this. So, do you have to do a physical part like this? Do you have to practice or warm up before you do meditation? No. What I'm doing here today is really nice if we kind of need a little bit of conditioning. If we're just starting and we just aren't comfortable with sitting. Could you use this practice any old time you felt like you needed to wake up? Sure. Sure. There's no rules against that. Let's go ahead and inhale, sit up. And then we're going to use our core a little bit. Yes, we are. Come off of your support if you are on one, okay? And we're going to do a boat. So you can take a lot of options in boat. Hands behind knees. You want to have a nice long back. Using navel in. Option A. Option B, okay? C, you can come off. All right. The more you're in, less work. Out, more work. And so, yeah, I mean, your core muscles too are really important here. We want to make sure that we're strengthening those as well, because that spine needs the support. It needs to feel effortless when we sit. Good. You could even do an exhale like a Pilates kind of breath and inhale and then out through the mouth. Sometimes that helps remind us to draw the navel in. Oh my gosh. And don't be afraid if you're shaking a little bit, or just kind of return to a supported version or a lighter version. But I don't mind shaking a little bit to stir something up in the body, right? Whoo. One more breath. All right. Let's tip. I only do one more thing here. Let's go down onto our backs and do a bridge flow. So here I'm going to bring us back to mindfulness. This is the slow flow. The feet come in close to the hips. Dig your shoulders in a little bit. And I want you to take a nice smooth inhale. Take your time with it. And as you lift your hips, you lift your arms. Raise your arms overhead. And as you exhale, then the arms come back to your sides, and one vertebra at a time, putting the back down. Okay, so do this as an act of concentration. Don't hurry. And fully coordinate your hands with your hips. All right? So those hands and hips touch at exactly the same time. And you may find that if you have not practiced such a thing, it's a little challenging. And that's fine. That's what we're doing here. So I bet the arms need to move maybe at a faster pace. It's internal work. All right? Smooth. Drawing the navel in even as you descend so that the hips are the last thing down. Let's do one more. Inhale. And on your last exhale here, take a long time. Stretch that exhale out as long as you possibly can, as effortlessly as possible as well. One vertebra at a time. And then just carefully roll onto your side. Come up to a seated position. And however you would like to sit for your meditation, if it's on a cushion or up on your blanket, stay calm, ground the hips, and sit with head, neck, and trunk in alignment. You are ready to sit for a few minutes in meditation.